Boxing truth here. Just major buzzkill with this Klitschko Joshua situation. Not really surprised. Didn't really expect the fight to happen. But now there was some belief kicking in. Perhaps sanctioning bodies would sanction the fight. And it's surprising that potentially none of the sanctioning bodies will sanction a Joshua Klitschko fight. Still waiting word from the WBA. And the WBA could really do themselves a favor, as well as do a boxing fans a favor, by sanctioning the fight between Joshua and Klitschko. It just makes no sense that not at least one of the sanctioning bodies will sanction the fight. It was expected. The WBO wasn't really surprising that they made the decision to order a vacant title fight between Joseph Parker and Andy Ruiz, considering their relationship with Top Rank and Bob Arum. And Bob Arum, who promotes Andy Ruiz, was able to get his way, was able to use his influence within the WBO to sanction a fight between his fighter and Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker. But when it comes to the WBA, it could be that Klitschko may perhaps be avoiding an Anthony Joshua fight, perhaps ducking the fight. I mean, when you look at it, he's 40 years old, over almost a year layoff, and to fight a young lion like that on Joshua's home soil in Manchester. Or the other alternatives is perhaps Klitschko could use his influence, since he does have an influence in the sport, could entice the WBA to sanction a vacant title fight against him and Lucas Brown on his home soil at his backyard in Germany, which it looks like that's going to be the fight. And it's a major buzzkill for fans. It's a big letdown considering all the teasing between Joshua and Klitschko negotiations. Eddie Hearn was very hopeful the fight could be made. And if it doesn't get made, Eddie Hearn's going to get some blame, but it's really not his fault. He's trying to make the fight. He's saying the deal is practically done. But ever since this past Sunday, it's been a big turnaround, a change. That Klitschko's team is adamant about the WBA title also being on the line. If they don't get that, then the fight's not going to happen. And Eddie Hearn he doesn't feel the fight's going to happen. He's got a bad feeling. You go on BoxRec, Klitschko's next fight's already posted against Lucas Brown in Germany on December 10th. And what's a major buzzkill is that Anthony Joshua's alternative opponents, if he doesn't get the Klitschko fight, it's very disappointing. Just makes you shake your head, makes you not even look interested or look forward to Joshua's next fight, considering the opportunity that was put in front of him to perhaps get a chance at a legend in Wladimir Klitschko. But the opponents being considered for his next fight, now that Klitschko fight seems to be just too out of reach for him to get, is David Price, who hasn't done jack shit, doesn't deserve the shot at the title. Ustinov, who's rated by the WBA. Bryant Jennings, who's been inactive and was knocked out in his last fight. Pulev, they're still trying to get him, but he doesn't seem to want to fight. And Eric Molina, a Deontay Wilder leftover. Just terrible alternative options for Anthony Joshua's next fight. The WBA needs to do boxing fans a favor. We've already gotten some bad news in regards to other situations and fight negotiations and fights being proposed. Just do the right thing, WBA. Make this fight, sanction the bout. You get a big sanctioning fee. It's a $20 million fight. But it really depends on Wladimir Klitschko if he really wants this fight. I mean, he doesn't need the money. It's not really about money for him. He stated that the WBA title is very important to him, considering it's the oldest belt that's been around in boxing history. It's true. The WBA and WBC were the first sanctioning bodies of the sport that were created. And the WBA belt needs to be a part of the equation for a Klitschko-Joshua fight. But you have to wonder, does Klitschko even want the fight? Does he want to go enemy territory? Does he want to be a road warrior when he doesn't have to be? You have to consider the terms for this bout agreement between Klitschko and Joshua. What exactly are the terms? Is it a 50-50 split? Who is the A side in the bout? Considering Joshua is the champion, but considered a paper champion, holds the IBF strap that is not as highly regarded as the WBA or WBC. That could be a factor. And also, Klitschko may just use his logic that, why fight this young lion for an even split, maybe even possibly getting the lower portion of the split, when he can fight in his backyard against a much safer opponent in Lucas Brown, an older guy, undefeated, but not much of a threat compared to Joshua, and he can fight him in his backyard for the WBA vacant strap for about half of what he was offered against Anthony Joshua, probably less than half. But it's not about the money for Wladimir Klitschko. But the WBA could really make the fight that the fans want to see in Klitschko-Joshua by just sanctioning the bout. We're still waiting decision. Doesn't seem like it's going to go down that way. It just seems like Klitschko is going to use his influence and demand that the fight be for a vacant title shot in his backyard against Lucas Brown. Very disappointing for boxing fans. When the fight was first being discussed between Klitschko and Joshua, I stated I didn't think it was going to happen. That was a big smoke screen. Looks like it appears to be that way. I was starting to believe a little bit. There was some signs of life of the fight to be happening. But it was just too good to be true. There's still slim hope that the fight could happen. There'll definitely be a stronger chance if the WBA does their job and just sanctions the bout. We'll have to wait and see. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.